Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. As you can hear from my voice, it's almost gone. I just finished my 3.5 hour live stream of me watching the game, and it was a very good game to watch, I will say that. It finished 27 points to the All Blacks, 7 to the Wallabies. So I am just going to give a quick analysis of what I thought of the game and a few little key points. Let's get right into it. So it was an interesting start to this game. From how it started, you would think that it was going to be a very close game between these two sides. And the score at halftime also reflected that. It was 10-7 to the All Blacks at halftime. So it did start off with quite a fast-paced game between the two sides, and you could see from the get-go that this game was going to be full of physicality, just from a few of the big hits we got early on, including one that Dane Coles wasn't too happy about. There was a bit of a pushing contest at the start of the match. I think it was about 3 minutes in, and you could see that both teams, they had a lot of passion going into this game, and you could see that from the haka as well for the All Blacks. But both teams really wanted to win this match, and you could see it on the field. Of course, neither team would have been happy with that 16-all draw. Well, I guess Australia maybe. But both teams wanted to win that match in the last week at Sky Stadium, but you could see that they both wanted to win the match today. Now, early on, Australia, they looked extremely dangerous as well. They got within metres of the All Blacks line in about the 7th minute it was. But then Ardie Savea once again showing how strong he is when it comes to stealing that ball only a couple metres out and managed to turn it over. But the Wallabies, that was a very good chance for them, and Ardie Savea managed to shut that down off the bat. But then straight away, only 2 minutes later, Michael Hooper did the same thing, stole the ball and managed to win the penalty. And Australia, they were playing the aggressive game here. I noticed even later on in the game, or not so much after they were 20 points down, but a bit later on, they were trying to go for the lineouts instead of taking the 3. They knew that 3 points wasn't going to be enough to beat the All Blacks. And unfortunately for them, one of them I can remember very clearly. It was a penalty, and I think they would have been able to take the 3 pretty easily, but instead they went for the lineout, and then it was stolen by the All Blacks. So that would have been quite disheartening. But I feel Australia, yes, they lost the game, but they played some very good rugby in this match. Handling errors for them let them down a bit. Every time it seemed like they were almost going to make that break, because their backline movement, it was working very well, and their forwards were working hard as well. They did look strong with ball in hand, but unfortunately that ball just slipped out of their hands just a few too many times. But then I feel like they will sort that out before the Rugby Championship, I'm sure. They've got a month, and it's been proven already that Rennie is the man for the job for the Wallabies, and I think the Wallabies have a very good chance of beating the All Blacks when we go to Australia. I'm going to be honest, they look like if they play well, they could easily beat any team in the world if they can get those handling errors under control, because their backline, their little set plays that they were doing, they were dangerous. They looked like they could have gone through a couple times. It was a great game for Koroibete. It was Koroibete who was denied a try in the game, and he just tried to pretty much run over Umanga, and he made it over him. But then it was over the line, and it was just that little bit held up. I believe it fell onto Anton Leonard-Brown's arm, which was in the right place at the right time, and then he was unable to get the ball down after offloading it back up to Tom Banks. But they weren't able to put the ball down there, the Australians, and that was a bit unfortunate for them. The first points on the board came when the All Blacks managed to win a penalty, and that was 18 minutes into the game, and Richie Mo'unga able to convert, which then made the game 3-0 to the All Blacks. And to be fair, it looked like either team could have been scoring before that 18 minutes. Both teams, to be fair, could have had a try up until then, but some very good defence from both sides stopped that from happening, but the All Blacks managing to draw first blood on the points board. Then we move on to that first try. It was a very good one. Smart play from Aaron Smith to put it down beside the ruck, but it all came from a great kick from Geordie Barrett. He did the grubber, but the ball finished on the 5 metre line for the Wallabies, and the winger for the Wallabies had no choice but to get tackled and force back over his own in-goal line for a 5 metre scrum, which then the All Blacks looked very dangerous in the couple hit-ups that they did, and then Aaron Smith managed to go around the side of the ruck and get the first try of the match. And that then, with the conversion, made the game 10-0 to the All Blacks after 22 minutes. The next points on the board were to Australia. Marika Koroibete, he is a strong runner of the ball, and he showed it there. He just forced his way over the line and managed to score for the Wallabies. And then at this point, when they scored that try in my live stream, I said that they weren't out of that game, but little did I know that that was actually going to be the last try or last points that they were going to score. James O'Connor was able to kick that one, and then the score was 10-7. Unfortunately, Joe Moody took a head knock. It was an ugly replay to watch because I think he almost caught the elbow, but I believe he knocked himself out on the Wallabies player's thigh. So I think the player was Hannigan, but I could be wrong. But yeah, Joe Moody knocked himself out and then caught a knee as well on the way down. Kind of like he hit his thigh and then dropped. And as he was dropping, caught the knee. So unfortunately he did have to get taken off. And that meant that Alex Hodgman was out on the field for his debut a lot earlier than he would have anticipated. And another debut was made, Peter Umanga Jensen. And he was on there a lot earlier as well, because Anton Leonard-Brown had to go to the blood bin very early. So he got a great reaction, Umanga Jensen, in front of, they said it was 46,000 in attendance, which is a huge number, and the atmosphere there would have been electric. And I feel like that's something that people around the world are missing at the moment, is that live sport with a crowd. You just can't beat it. Okay, so then it was half time. They were the most key points in the first half. And now, going into half time, I said that it still could go either way. It looked like the Wallabies, they still had fight in them. They were looking dangerous with their backline movements. Then saying that, the All Blacks, they showed how much they wanted that game in the second half. The Wallabies tried, but then once again the handling errors, just kind of back to back. Each time they almost got it going, it was dropped, and then they went to the scrum. But New Zealand, they got a couple very good tries, and that was what won them the game. But yeah, then Caleb Clark, he looked absolutely phenomenal out there. He looked like he could start any game at any time and he would be fine. He had the strength, he had the speed, the power, and he just put in a very good shift, and that actually led to one of the next tries that were coming up. But first, we did have the try of Geordie Barrett. It was a great backline movement from the All Blacks. It just kept going, and I believe it was Mwanga to Goodhue who lured them in, and then out wide, Geordie Barrett put it down. It looked easy. The All Blacks came into the second half fighting hard. They wanted to be further ahead. But then 4 minutes into that second half, they proved how much they wanted it. And from there, they just kind of kept taking over, unfortunately for the Wallabies. And then Richie Mo'unga unable to convert, which left the score at 15-7 after 45 minutes. So there was still a lot of time left in this game, and there were still plenty of opportunities for both teams to score more points. But yeah, the next try, Caleb Clark with a huge run up the middle of the field led to the next try, and he made about 60 metres there. And it was just a very good run. And then from there, it was a little backline movement. Ardie Savia had men outside him, but decided to take it on. Kind of fell backwards, and then turned over, scored the try. And then the All Blacks from there just kept building momentum and were able to take the game. But yeah, they scored in the 44th minute and the 47th. So they were looking like a very hard team to stop as soon as they got that momentum. Once again though, the kick did miss from Richie Mo'unga. So at that stage he was 2 from 4. Now the Wallabies, they had an attacking line out 5 metres from the All Blacks try line in the 51st minute. And it looked for certain that they were going to be able to drive over and score. And it ended up being Brandon Paianga Emosa who was going to score the try, but then it went to the TMO and they decided that he had done a double movement. He had gone back to his knees and then placed the ball. So it was called a double movement there. Even without the going to his knees, he almost maybe would have been able to reach the try line. But yeah, because he did go to his knees, unfortunately for the Wallabies, it was called no try. I feel like that was the beginning of the end for the Wallabies there. It just kind of killed the momentum that they were slowly trying to rebuild. But then something that hurt the Wallabies even more was the try to come in the 55th minute. It was Sam Cane with a very dangerous run up the middle. Yeah, someone passed it to him, and I believe he wrong-footed. Jordan Pataya, I think, was the one who missed the tackle as he slipped, and Sam Cane able to score. And by then, with the kick being successful, the score was 27-7, which was the end score. Yeah, after that we did have a bit of a quiet patch. Both teams wanted to score, but it just wasn't quite linking up for them. So the Wallabies ended up in that last 20 minutes, I think they had more than 5 handling errors, which unfortunately every time they got a bit of momentum, it just killed it straight away. There were a couple times that I thought for sure that the Wallabies would be able to get back into that match, but unfortunately for them it just wasn't their day with ball in hand. I think they've got a very good base now going into the Rugby Championship. They've had a couple warm-up games, and I think the Rugby Championship, the results, they will be a lot closer. Well, I guess you can't get closer than 16 all, but they will be a lot closer than the second match that was 27-7 to the All Blacks. So the game finished with a forward pass. I think it was Tom Banks who threw it, and it went about 3 or 4 metres forward, I'm pretty sure. So that was the end of the game, but I have got the stats of the match as well that I will be sharing. So possession was actually 55% to Australia. So from looking at the stats, a big one that I am noticing is defenders beaten. The All Blacks had 35 defenders beaten to the Wallabies 13, so they were struggling to get through. The All Blacks at times, the likes of Geordie Barrett and Caleb Clark, they were just tearing through that Wallabies side, getting through about 2 or 3 at once, and because of that, it just kept the momentum rolling for the All Blacks. So a number that also sticks out is 27 missed tackles to the 13, the Wallabies having the 27. But I feel with more game time, and also with the new coaching, I think that that number will go down, and I think they are a dangerous side, the Wallabies. I know they haven't had the result against the All Blacks in quite a long time, but I think they do have enough skill in the players that they've got now. I think that they can certainly be a threat to some of those top level teams. I'm going to do 3 players for each team that I feel played the best, and if you don't agree with these, please be sure to let me know in the comments who you would have picked. But I will say for the All Blacks, I'm going to go Sam Cane, Ardie Savea and Caleb Clark as my top 3, but then Geordie Barrett is very close in 4th place. And then for the Wallabies, I am going to go with their top 3 players for me were Michael Hooper. He had a very good game, I thought. And I'd also go Harry Wilson, the young fella. He played pretty well as well. And then I will go with Marika Koroibete as the 3rd. And he almost had a second try as well there, Koroibete. And surprisingly, Filippo Dagunu, he had a very quiet game. I said in my preview that he was going to get a try, I thought. But unfortunately, I was wrong, as it was just going to Koroibete's side a lot of the time. Right, I think that's about all I want to say. I'll be honest, the live stream has got me pretty tired, so I can't remember as much as I'd like to, and also I feel like some of my thoughts and everything could be a mile off, so please do go easy on me in the comments. But yeah, if you have anything you would like to say about the game, be sure to leave a comment. I do try and reply to every comment I get on the videos. But yeah, so that is the end of this video of my review of the All Blacks vs Wallabies second test match. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.